Thank you. My goodness, what an honor. You know, when you're the center of attention, when you speak before a large crowd, on the one hand, it can be very intimidating. It can make you nervous. On the other hand, though, what a great crowd to be speaking to. I mean, give yourself a round of applause. We're all family here. We all know each other. We have many new friends here tonight, and that's fantastic too, because I think there's so much potential for growth for the Family Institute in Connecticut. You're going to be hearing pretty soon a video on the Family Institute of Connecticut that gives a broad sort of general overview. And later on during the appeal, I'll be speaking about some of the reasons for why we would ask you to give to the Family Institute tonight. What I want to talk about during this brief time is what was going on with the Family Institute this year. And when I think about specifically, I think you all know we're very much at a crossroads for our country this year and for the state of Connecticut. And it really, it makes an event like this, to me, shine even brighter, because we are people who speak for truth, who try to live the truth at a time when truth has very much gone out of fashion. And if anything, you know, a dinner like this would be very important at a time when our values are honored and cherished. I think it's even more important at a time like right now when our values are so much under attack, that we come together like this and support one another. So I salute you. All of you are the Family Institute of Connecticut. I want to make sure, first of all, to thank my wife, Leslie, and my children. 4 of my 7 are here today, including my youngest. And everyone else, too, that makes all of this possible. Our board of directors are here tonight. All the volunteers, the staff, and you, the donors and members of Family Institute of Connecticut. You know, it's my, as Chris mentioned, if you do a Google search or if you just go through Governor Malloy's past commercials, it's my face that's out there. I'll save the story for next year, but ask me about the time I got a selfie with Governor Malloy. It's my face that's out there, it's my name that's out there, but the Family Institute isn't just a face on TV or the office in Hartford. It's all of you, it's all of us together. I want to recognize the dignitaries too, especially in a place like Connecticut. You know, when they show up here, they really deserve special recognition. I probably won't remember all of them. I hope I do, but I know that we have, for instance, Senator Mike McLaughlin here from the state legislature. Danbury and Bethel. We also have somewhere outgoing State Representative Al Adenofi, who's been a champion for our values. We have, believe it or not, I think this is a first, we have a couple candidates for Congress here tonight. We have Daria Novak, who's a Republican nominee in the 2nd District. And he may not be here yet. I think he's expected later this evening. But John Shaban, who's down here in the, he's running for Congress here in the 4th District. So very grateful to all of you. So what was 2016 about? Well, of course, we're all riveted to the national scene this year. And that's interesting from a Family Institute of Connecticut perspective, because I think more than at any time in my 12 years as both public policy and now executive director for 9 years, this was the year that Family Institute of Connecticut went national, where our work here in Connecticut, and all of it circles around back to what we're doing here in Connecticut, but our work received a level of recognition and acknowledgement that I've never seen before in the history of FIC. I can't take, it would take the whole evening to describe everything that's happened this year. But I want to give you just some of the highlights. So for instance, down in Washington, D.C., I addressed the inaugural conference of the Euthanasia Prevention Coalition USA. This is a new national network against assisted suicide that the Family Institute of Connecticut helped to found. This is something that's never happened before, unprecedented. I gave 4 briefings to congressional staff on Capitol Hill down in Washington, D.C. At their invitation. They asked me to come down and speak about assisted suicide out of our experience here in Connecticut, having defeated it for the last 4 years. I spoke at a retreat of pro-family activists from throughout the northeastern United States in places like California. Specifically, these are the so-called blue states. My peers in those states, we had a big retreat in Maine a few months ago, and they wanted to hear specifically from Connecticut. The question they wanted to know is, how do you do what you've done in Connecticut? How have you defeated assisted suicide for the past 4 years? How was it that you stopped same-sex marriage every year at the legislature? How was it after the court did what they did that you managed to go back and secure the strongest religious liberty exemptions against it in the entire country? This is a new level of acknowledgement. We've never seen this before, but people are coming to us in Hartford, in Connecticut, and saying, show us, teach us whatever you have to teach that we have to learn. And that's amazing. That's a beautiful thing. And again, that's really a testament to all of you, to the work of all of us, and ultimately to Almighty God, from who all good things come. We know that. We know who really has the victories. One of the most important of the national, and I want to tell you about Connecticut too, but one of the most important national things that occurred this past year is Larry from my office. Larry and I both attended the Family Policy Alliance. And if you don't know, Family Institute, we're part of a network of 40 state-based family policy councils, they're called. We're all loosely affiliated with Focus on the Family Research Council. You're probably familiar with some of those names. Well, a conference was held out in Arizona for the entire state family policy network put on by our umbrella organization, the Family Policy Alliance, at which they unveiled a new strategy for defeating assisted suicide nationwide. They showed this to all 40 state-based family policy councils. It was based on the work that we did here in Connecticut with our allies. In fact, it was actually put together in consultation with Family Institute, particularly with the good work of my wife, Leslie. Thank you, Leslie. So, has our attention strayed from Connecticut? Not on your life. Connecticut, we've done this past year what we always do. We've been defending the vulnerable. When the local organizers for the 40 Days for Life said they couldn't do it in Hartford this year, Family Institute of Connecticut went ahead and held a rally, a protest outside of the abortion clinic in Hartford anyway. Many people attended that, and we're actually working with the local organizers to plug a hole in their personnel so that there is someone next year to start up 40 Days for Life again. We helped our friends in the disability community protest a movie called Me Before You, which is, it's what you would expect. It's a big Hollywood blockbuster that glamorizes assisted suicide for the disabled. In fact, these protests occurred outside of this movie all across the country. In Connecticut, we had the biggest protest against it. Of course, most of what we do is education, but we were involved in the legislature this year too, as we always were. We helped to pass a right to try law, it's called, this is something that shows that we care about end-of-life care in general. It's not just about opposing assisted suicide, but we've made it easier for people with terminal illnesses to try experimental drugs that may extend their life. We were very instrumental in helping to pass that bill. We joined an anti-casino coalition. You may know that there's an effort now to build a third casino here in Connecticut. We helped push back against a calendar that was created by the Glastonbury Chamber of Commerce. I don't want to go too deep into the weeds on this, but it was a very risque calendar that had very inappropriate photos, some of which included children. And we exposed this on our website. It was picked up. It became very big news in the Hartford Courant. And some of the people who were involved in that, the picture was removed, and some of the people involved were fired from their jobs. So Family Institute, I think, has a level of influence that is new. We helped get the Department of Children and Families to remove from its website some very offensive terminology having to do with alternative sexualities. We've got an age range here tonight, so I won't go into the details. You can imagine. This is a battle that we fought for a long time, and I'm happy to say DCF, which is paid for by our tax dollars, finally this year, removed some very offensive anti-family language that frankly attacks people like us and tries to marginalize us as discriminatory. That language is now off their website. And finally, we had a small part in this, but the award tonight goes to the people that really accomplished it. The single biggest victory for our values in Connecticut in 2016 was the closing of the Bridgeport abortion clinic. And I'll close with this, and then we'll go to the next thing, but I cannot end the speech without giving the award tonight to our two fantastic awardees, Marilyn Carroll and Carmen Vasquez. They are, for some 20, 25 years, they prayed and worked in front of that abortion clinic in Bridgeport every week. They are part of something called Operation Save America. You may remember it by its older name, Operation Rescue. Operation Save America, the Connecticut chapter, Google this organization. I am in awe of them, of the work they do. As soon as the Bridgeport, they saved literally thousands of lives down there. As soon as the Bridgeport clinic closed down, they moved right up to New Haven. And my goodness, these folks are on the front lines. It's because of them that abortion clinics are closing in Connecticut. We're happy to partner with them. But I must say I'm in absolute awe of all the good work that they've done. And it's our pleasure to be able to, and of course, I want to say, because they would be the first to remind me, they would be the first to credit it, and you will see it in the program, all glory to Jesus Christ. These are two women of a very great, very deep evangelical Christian faith. And the power that it has, the lives that it changes. I'll tell you, I've been in this movement a long time, and I'm in awe at what these two women have accomplished. So please join me in a round of applause for Marilyn and Carmen.